going on, everyone? Samir Jandreau here with the Men's Circle, and I'm coming today to you to talk about a lesson that I just received from two of my close friends who happen to be women, and it's around consent. So the whole idea of this video is to tell you a story, short story, and then deliver a lesson on what I just learned around consent. And this is specifically, I'm talking to you men here. So any man that's listening or masculine identifying being, this conversation's for you. So I was just at a recent gathering. It was my friend's birthday party, and I was kind of being a little more flirtatious, maybe a little more sexually expressed, a little unleashed, so to say. And there was a few instances where I made some women feel really unsafe. So one example is I hugged one woman, just met her, and I could tell that she wasn't really available for the hug. She's kind of like, she was a little closed. She wasn't as connected. And I was like, oh, that's strange. But yet I continued to hold her and hug her and then let go. And then we continued on, had a conversation. And there was another moment where I'm a photographer, so I also do photography. And I asked one of my friends who I'd known for quite some time, we have a relation, like a friendship going on. We have some trust, some relatability. I'm on a team, a photography mastermind team, and our newest assignment is a boudoir shoot, which if you don't know what boudoir is, it basically means you photograph someone in lingerie, kind of in an intimate way. And I asked this woman, I said, hey, would you be available to do a boudoir shoot in the next week or two? And she says, let me think about that. And I asked her again in a different way, kind of, come on, it'd be so fun, you know, this and that. She was like, I'll consider it. And we kind of went on with our own way. And there was another moment where I was photographing people and I was directing them, and I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, turn around, you know, look that way, like smack yourself on the butt. Like, look this way, like give her a kiss on the cheek. You know, really playful, really kind of silly. And there was an impact. There was an impact for all three of those things I was doing there. Let me start with the first one. So when I hugged that woman the first time and I could tell that she wasn't really connected, there was a moment where I had her feel unsafe. What I was doing was creating some unsafety in her. I held on for too long. Like I wasn't, and my intuition, my gut told me, hey, she's not really available for hugs, so like just let go. And what I've heard someone say to me before is like, hug someone until they let go. And that's a sign from them, hey, I'm complete with this hug. And one thing I'm also learning is this consent. It's like I could have asked her, hey, can I hug you? I'd like to, or here's an example. I hug her and I could tell that she didn't really want to hug. I let go. And then we continue to have a conversation. And if I want to have a hug later on, I could consent in communication and say, hey, I'd like to hug you again. Would it be okay if I hugged you and maybe we do a deep breath together? Or, you know, can I hug you on this side? Essentially what I'm getting at here is like checking in with this person to make sure they're comfortable with what I'm doing, right? And I'm gonna move to the second interaction here. It's when I asked that person if I could do a boudoir shoot for them. She was actually a no. She was a decline, and I didn't really get that in my mind because I just kept pressing on. I kept moving forward. Next time, what I'm gonna do is really get present to like looking at her body language, looking at what she's communicating. Is she a yes or is she a no? And her and I had a conversation just minutes ago, and she said if it's not a fuck yes, then there's a no inside of there. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's a new perspective I'm gonna take on. And when I kept pressing on with her with the boudoir shoot, she just felt unsafe, and she even mentioned to me there's some inner work for her to do around declaring a powerful no to people. And especially, I'm just gonna use this example. She told me, like, you're a good-looking human. Like, you have power inside of that. You have to take responsibility for your looks. And sometimes I could be in a space with someone and they might say a yes out of pressure or out of wanting to like not make the other person feel bad or wrong, or they're a good-looking person, so maybe this might be fun. And that it actually could lead to some like remorse the next, you know, moments afterwards or the next day. And she even mentioned to me that she was kind of annoyed at herself for not giving that powerful no. And what I'm present to is this is a learning lesson for her and I both together, really. And I'll close it out with this last one. When I was telling people to like turn around and like slap your butt and kiss, like the big takeaway for me here is like really when I walk into a space, like knowing the space. So looking, are there children present? Are there women present? Are there men present here? What are their ages? How many people are here? Have I met these people before? Have I not? And erring on the side of being gentle and caution, and easing my way into an expression if I so desire, right? So I could start hugging people very gently, respecting their like space, respecting where they're at. I have no idea what their past looks like, or what they're up to, or who this person is. And if I like a hug, for example, then I could consent and ask, hey, I'd like to hug you. Would that be okay with you? Yeah, great, okay, we'd hug. Or, hey, I'd like to do like 2 deep breaths as we hug. Is that okay for you? Yeah, right, like let's communicating before doing it to get an agreement from someone, and really checking in, like looking at their body language. Are they a yes? Are they a no? Should I double, and here's another lesson, double verify, especially as intimacy goes deeper, right? Like if I, if I wanted to hug that person for 3 breaths and hold and do 3 breaths together, like, hey, is it okay that I hug you and do 3 breaths together? Maybe. Well, yeah, is there something uncomfortable? Is that uncomfortable for you? Like, do you want to talk about it? And I'm not attached too. Like, if you don't want to hug, it's all good too. And maybe she's like, no, actually I'm good. I just want a little space. Okay, got that. No problem. Totally get it. Right? So double verifying and checking. And also a third lesson here is, like I mentioned before, is like taking responsibility for your own power, or I'll put it in my own place, my own power, my own looks, like knowing that with how I am in the world, there comes a responsibility. And I'm so grateful these people brought this conversation to me, because there's a breakdown here, there's a breakthrough here, there's transformation. I get to take these lessons and embody these moving forward, and also teach other men about these things. Because consent, I don't think we talk about it enough, whether it's a communication consent or a physical consent. I think it's a brilliant conversation to be in, and a practice to practice, because I'm committed to create a safe space for all human beings, men, women, any gender identifying human. Like, I want people to feel safe so that they can express themselves, because I truly believe with people expressing themselves, and living a fully expressed life, we are going to have a more high vibrational place, more fun. We're going to be able to create things, play, gather, peace, joy. There's so many things that are available when people feel safe enough to express themselves. And yeah, I just want to take full responsibility for like who I was being and what I was saying and the impact that had on others. And I'm so grateful that these 2 women chose to call me to deliver this lesson around how they were left, what I said, and how I was being, how the impact was, because now I get to take that, really fully listen, acknowledge, hear them, and acknowledge the impact, learn the lesson, and then create something moving forward. So moving forward, I'm committed to first looking at the space, bringing awareness to the space, women, children, men, present, how many, what age, do I know them? What level of expression should I bring to this, right? Let me err on the side of being more gentle and more cautious with how I'm expressing and what I'm saying, what I'm asking, and also taking full responsibility for what I bring to this space, who I'm being, what I'm saying. And third, when I do start consenting, like double verifying and checking with people, hey, is it okay that I hug you here? Is it okay that I touch you there? I would like to hug you. Is that okay for you, right? Or can we go do, for me with photography, can we go do a shoot over here, and would you be comfortable expressing yourself in these certain ways, right? Just really checking in with that person, understanding them. And then really inside of the consent, like, what is their body language telling me? Is it a fuck yes, or is there a no in there? Is there any kind of no? Let's talk about it. And if it's a no, for me, a practice of being unattached and it being with the no, it's okay. I totally got it. I respect that. Thank you, right? Like, thank you. So my message to you guys, consent, 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 especially you brothers out there, you men. This is a great conversation to be in. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time. If you have any questions or thoughts or things you'd like to see more of, leave a comment below, and I hope you have a great and beautiful day. Take care.